Hey there, Doodle lover. Are you ready to finally feel proud of your Doodle's behavior? Not just their adorable face? Then don't miss my free 10-day Doodle Parent Challenge starting September 5th. It's the training reset you've been craving. Live, science-backed, and built just for Doodle parents like you. Head to thedoodlepro.com/parent challenge to save your free spot now. That's thedoodlepro.com/parent challenge. I'll see you inside. On this episode, enjoy part 2 of my conversation with trainer Emily Martin about decoding your Doodle's body language. Amongst the many body language topics we cover today, you're going to learn more about consent tests, what you look for between dogs to make sure that they're both having a good time, and how to read Doodle tail wags better. Are you ready to test your knowledge on decoding dog body language? Head over to our quiz at thedoodlepro.com/body and see how well you can read dog body language. Make sure to catch episode 39 from last week, where Emily and I dive into how Doodle's body language are so different from other dogs and more on decoding their body language. Doodle breed dogs are easy to love, but can be challenging to parent. I'm Doodle expert Corinne Gearhart, also known as the Doodle Pro, and I'm here to help Doodle parents have a more fulfilling and rewarding experience with their Doodles. No one has professionally worked with as many different Doodle breeds or has more experience with Doodles than I have. And I love to share my expertise in a fun, compassionate, and non-judgmental way. From my years of work and education in the pet care and dog training industry, I have an incredible network of skilled training, grooming, and veterinary professionals to share their knowledge with you and give you the Doodle-specific answers you're looking for. I hope you enjoy today's episode as I help you parent your Doodle like a pro. So if you're trying to tell, does my dog like this? Consent testing is my go-to.
Yes.
Can you share a little how you use that and what that is?
Yeah. And I'll have to maybe we can add the link. I do have a reel on my Instagram that goes over consent petting with one of my dogs. And I actually just took some more photos or video of a foster dog that I am helping out with. And he's been a really good consent test dog. So when I talk about consent petting, and I also do this when people meet two of my dogs that are a little bit more shy. So I say, yeah, you can put your hand out, and if they would like to come to you, that's great. And you can pet them for 3 to 5 seconds.
Yes.
And then please stop. If your dog is comfortable, or if they are comfortable, they will come back into you.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you're putting a little bit of that power and that voice in your dog to say, you know what? Yeah. And Moose, who is, I call him my behavior dog. So he's come a long ways. He had a lot of behavioral issues when I adopted him and things like that, or he was rehomed to me. And I love it when he meets new people and he does consents, because he will come and get cozy in your life.
Oh,
but you have to let him make the choice. You have to give him that power and do a consent test with him. Hey, would you like to interact? And he'll say, yeah. And then he'll stop, and then he'll come and he'll do a turn and he'll sit right in your lap. And I'm like, okay, you're good. Totally pet him. So
he has said yes enthusiastically.
It's so cute. Or he says no and he walks away. Like,
and that's
he's cut and dry with that. It's either I'm all in or I'm done. Peace out. But that's important for him to have that voice and feel comfortable. And he says no big deal. And I tell the person, I said, don't feel bad. Don't have your feelings hurt. But when he does say yes, I'm always like, oh my gosh, you should be so special right now. He gave you a yes. That's gold right there. So yeah, really putting it in the power of their hands and letting them feel comfortable. And again, that also bounces back to advocating for your dog, where I think it's hard for owners to tell people no and yes, or you can't.
Oh, there's such pressure. Yeah. And that was really insightful of your client to say, I thought being a good dog owner was letting everybody pet them. That was the friendly, neighborly thing to do when I'm out and about.
Socialization purposes, you get it too. Well, for socialization, everybody should get to say hi to him. And that's not proper socialization either. But
No, we're not looking for quantity. We're looking for positive.
yeah.
Yes. And your dogs, by being their advocates so consistently, they know this pet is going to last maximum 2 to 3 seconds. If I'm done, mom will make sure it's over. And this isn't going to be, I have to roll on my belly and they're going to loom over me.
I think consent where it gets tough too is like there's giving your dog the option to say no. Moosh can say no every single time if he wants, and that's fine. If he doesn't, because he's been learning to feel more comfortable and trusted and things like, but that's because I've given him the option for no. And you hear that a lot. If I let them say no every time, they're always going to say no. I'm like, not if you're actually working on training and looking at the bigger picture and helping meet their needs in every way, then they're going to start to say, oh, you know what? Actually, like I can handle this today. I can do this.
And if we're listening to that polite no thank you, we don't need to go to the growl, snarl, bite. And those can happen, but we're not pushing them that direction because we've listened to that polite no thank you.
Yep. I work with a lot of nervous and fearful dogs. Actually, I work with, I would say, a lot of nervous and fearful doodles.
They are thrown that direction.
Yes. Yeah. And I love walking owners. Of course, they have to learn body language. And a lot of them use their voice, the doodles. They use their voice. They need space, things like that. But I love walking through. I have a little like 3-step approach on once they are ready to meet somebody, how to meet somebody. And I had a first in person with somebody the other day, and we actually started on headphones, and I'm like half a block away. And I say, your dog's ready to meet me today. Brilliant. And we'll meet, but I'm not going to push it. And the owner was like, that was so cool. I never thought about that. And thanks for taking that approach versus being like, no, just bring him up here and let's figure it out. Like that wasn't going to put him in the right setting. But there are a lot of trainers, unfortunately, that will push it. And I'm like, no need. I'll watch his body language. And when he's comfortable, then we go to the next step.
And I do the same with my human kids. When they were little, it wasn't go hug grandpa. I listened and I gave them choices. Do you want to wave or give a high five? And if they were silent and didn't want to do any, that's fine. We'll see you later. Love you, grandpa. And grandpa felt more safe the next visit as opposed to the anxiety that we all felt when our aunt would squeeze our cheeks. And we had no say in the matter. Which one makes you want to
kiss with lipstick left on?
Which makes you want to go to the family event next time when you're forced into or not. With the consent petting, I like Family Pause's motto of pet pause.
Pet pause. That's great. Yep.
And if they move into you more after your pause, then they're saying, I like this. And if they walk away, that's fine. And what are the odds that pet will feel more safe with you after you've given them that option?
Yep. I agree. And there's a teacher, I've seen it on, I think, social media too. There's a wave of like teachers that also have kind of options. So when kids come into the class, they can get a high five or a hug or a fist bump. There's a couple different options. What are you comfortable with? And again, that should be implemented also with our dogs.
Yes, I totally agree. If we are going back to their different kind of body shapes and way of reading their language, I would love to talk about tails. So you mentioned that you'll hear clients say, but their tail was wagging, they were happy. Can you break that down a little bit more for our listeners?
Oh, tails. Tails are deceiving, guys.
Yeah.
There's a term, happy tail, happy dog. And that's not always the case. And again, a lot of people, new dog owners, never own a dog. They think happy tail wagging is happy. And this is where I want you guys to dig in a little bit deeper and learn. Tails can mean a lot of different things, and also tail shape, right? So all tails work slightly differently depending on their shape as well.
Yeah.
So the book, I was actually looking at this before we logged on here. So the book Doggy Language, there are 6 pages about tails in this book. 6 pages.
That says a lot. Yeah.
It says a lot. So it does. It talks about different shape. It talks about relaxed, neutral tail. It talks about anxious, low tail, alert, high tail.
That's the one I think is the most confusing to people. Yeah.
Yeah. And then different types of tails. So the alert high tail, basically, and the speed of the tail wag. This is where it gets complicated. So your dog's tail, let's say they have a tail and they have like a lab. We're talking about, I guess we could talk about a doodle as well, but a lab, it's really easy to see. Tail can be straight out and it can be wagging fast, but I also want to look at, it's hard to explain, almost like a fast, loose wag. Like it's got a little bit of the butt wiggle to it.
The body flows with it as opposed to stiff.
Yes. So it's relaxed, moving together versus a tail that's sticking straight out. And it has this almost like a harsh tick movement.
Like a little jerky. Yeah.
And sometimes they'll even go a little bit more alert. And it can be fast or slow depending on the dog, but it's not fluid. It's like a hard to one side to the other side, one side to the other side. And the body's also more stiff. That is an alert, anxious tail. It's a sign of, I might have a reaction here. I might lunge if I'm not helped, things like that. There's also, I don't love when we talk about dog greetings, if a dog comes up and you see that stiff tail that's just real stiff and it's just moving a little bit, it's usually followed with stiff body language. And if that's happening, say at the dog park, I'm going to
let's break this up.
I'm going to be real silly and real goofy and see if I can get some relaxed in there, because that can often go, depending on, again, the other dog, how the other dog is going to read it. It can go to chase or play, or it can go to an argument. It's just like the hackles, where that's all that stiffness and that tension. It can go either way, but I'm going to try to help sway that to let's go run and play or shake it off.
Let's loosen this up.
Body language, which I love to talk about, is the shake off, but let's loosen it up.
Yeah.
So wagging tail, you need to know the contents. You need to know your dog. You need to know the situation. It's not always a happy tail. And then, of course, the opposite is a low tucked tail, nervous, fearful, scared, lack of confidence, things like that. There is a relaxed down tail. So my Cleek eyes, my mini Huskies, one of them has a very curly tail. I call it her cinnamon roll. So it is tight curly.
Yeah.
But if she's scared or nervous, it'll be down, and then it'll loosen, which I rarely see that. She's pretty confident. But when she's relaxed, sometimes I always laugh when I see it down when she's really relaxed. So that just looks unnatural. But just because it's down doesn't always mean she's scared. And with her tail, she also, again, it's tight. She has different wags as well. She has like a half wag. She has a full wag. There's a lot of different wags, but I have to learn her. It's very different than her brother's tail.
Right.
Now they're the same breed.
We see ones that are higher content poodle or full poodles. They have this tail that kind of just kinks up, and it's often groomed with a bush at the bottom. And I find it impossible to tell the angle like that. It's physically impossible for that tail to tuck under, and it can never hang loose. It's always erect and hangs over their butt. And so for those, I'm watching for the speed and the style of the full body. So when you're talking about that tick, 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 I can watch for that. I don't have the advantage of seeing where it's laying, but I could see where the rest of their body is. And that's what I find myself doing a lot with the Doodles, is watching for the looseness or the tension in the full body, as a lot of the other micro signals can be harder to catch.
And again, that's dialect, right? I love using that word, as dialect of that breed. They're all speaking the same, but there's just little differences that we need to tune into and pay attention to and be aware of.
And with docked tails, when it's just a little nub or barely anything at all, how do you read those?
I would also refer back to speed, obviously, depending on docked. It just depends on how long it is, but it's not my go-to in reading dog language when the tail is very short. So say like on a Frenchie or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not my first go-to. But yeah,
When those little nubs really get going, it's a delight.
right? I agree. There's nothing cute. Actually, he's coming to stay with me starting tonight, but he's got like a little extra long nub, and I love it because when he's happy, it's just the cutest little thing. It's
like
just,
an extra digit. It's so cute.
yeah. And I joke that it's his confidence it's his confidence meter.
Oh,
Yeah. He's been learning a lot and building confidence, especially with enrichment. So you can see him like thinking. And then when he starts to get it, like that nub, it just this is how you do it. I got it. Like he hits his little crown meter.
Oh, you can tell when Emily and I get together how we talk about dogs. So if we're talking more about reading interplay between dogs, when they get together, what do you look for to see is everybody having a good time or not? Sit and stay right there. We'll be back right after this quick break. Hey, quick break, because I've got something just for you. If life with your doodle feels more chaotic than calm, you're not alone. But you don't have to do it alone either. I created the Doodle Parent Challenge to help you go from frustrated and confused to confident and connected in just 10 days. No force, no fear, just science-based tools that actually work for doodles. It's free. It starts September 5th, and I'll be there guiding you live. Head to thedoodlepro.com/parent challenge and grab your spot now. Let's make calm feel possible again.
So yeah, I look for role reversal and listening to each other. I do a lot of dog interactions here at my place too, with helping people learn that and read that. And again, I want to see dogs communicating. And if not, I'm going to help them maybe create more space or go for a walk and change that up too. Again, not all dogs are going to get along, but if they're struggling, there's also things we can do to help communicate. So if I have a overbearing dog who's a little too much for say Moosh, my dog, right? My dog Moosh, I'm going to work on maybe if I have another person, we're going to go for a walk together and we're going to go for a walk and just coexist.
Just a parallel interaction.
Just a parallel walk, let them get some yahoos out, see that he's fine. And then in the yard, if they're coming over and, hey, we need to hang out, I might actually put up or in my house, even a baby gate first and let them do some interaction that way. Let them work through some of that if there was tension in the beginning before I expect them to totally coexist. Now, I also watch, again, space being respected. If this dog is still too much and Moose just said, okay, I've said no, I'm struggling, I'm going to maybe give some breaks, or I'm going to look for the point where that they can coexist and Moose can just decide to say no, and I'm going to go to this bed, and I'm going to also give him his safe place. So if that dog tries to come up to him, I'm going to reroute things like that. And that's like, I guess I went on the far end of like when they don't get along.
What you're describing there is a really important tactic when somebody brings home a new puppy and they have an adult dog. It is not your adult dog's job to teach the puppy and discipline them and stuff. Your adult dog didn't really ask for this, and they have a right to have their own space and not be, it's like a teenager and a toddler being made to have play dates.
And that's right now, my dogs are going through a transit with watching some dogs, and Moosh's body language, again, both, they are very clear in their body language and very clear. Sometimes it's appropriate. Sometimes it's inappropriate. And if it's inappropriate, it's okay, Emily, you need to help out and interject because he's not able to, he's given his warning signs and now this dog's not listening. And now I know Moosh is going to get a little too snappy. Like I know my dog's limits.
Yes.
But I joke that I love when I see grouchy Moosh because I know he's able to handle it versus he has sometimes where he's enough and he gets too much. And he just walks around. His ears are a little droopy and he's just kind of like, fine, I'll just go.
Well, it was so quiet before.
I know. He can remove himself from the situation
Good.
a lot of times. And those are big coping skills and body language skills that he's had to develop and feel comfortable that it works too, versus snapping and biting and things like that too. So again, there's just such a range of that body language. I know he's not super happy, but I know he's able to deal with it because he's cruising over. He puts himself on his bed and he's like, okay, if I just sit over here and do nothing, I know I can handle life right now.
Yes. And when you talk about reciprocal play, I see that as not just one dog chasing the other. One isn't always getting rolled. That if one is chasing, then the other one chases back. And if one rolls on their back, the other one rolls on their back. And they mirror each other's play.
Yeah. And I think some dogs can figure out how to play with lots of different breeds. Some dogs can't.
Yes.
So role reversal is super important. And that's, I have a puppy that we've been working with and teaching the puppy role reversal versus always just being the pushy one, right? So that's important as well. I think taking breaks again, if they're not getting it, things like that, and then starting back up. But you have to also keep in mind, not every breed plays alike. So you might have a little bit of different random sporadic of this chases and then they wrestle. Or I often see that last night was a great example. A dog came over for interaction and Takani was very appropriate with this dog. He's a lot bigger than her. And she play bowed around him and said, let's play. And he was like, I don't really know. And so she backed off and then she would come play bow again. And then she played bow and ran away. So she was trying to get him to chase. So she was trying a couple different methods to be like, what do you like, buddy?
What works for you?
Yeah. What works for you? But not all breeds, not all dogs have those skills. And that can be, when we talk about where our dogs came from, we talk about our breeds, their histories. And that's something to keep in mind too. So she did great, but that dog never reciprocated last night. He said, I actually don't want to play. And she eventually gave him the space and just ignored him.
Right.
And looking at that too, and yeah, we wanted them to play. That was the goal, but he wasn't into it. And then we look at, let's talk about like other breeds. So I have some boxers I'm working on socialization with, and they've been hard because I don't know if you know anything about boxers and how boxers play. They box.
Yeah, the name comes for a reason.
They're kind of like Doodles, but they're a little bit more hot on it. Like they'll just slap you in the face. So that's
why wouldn't every dog love that?
Or I have another dog, Remy, who has come so far. I love this dog to pieces, a good client dog, and he's very mouthy. Now, I think this is another good hot topic to talk about when we talk about dogs' play styles, because mouthy scares a lot of people.
Teeth, and it feels like, is that aggression? Yeah.
And it, again, there's a line of it can be, it cannot, it can escalate. He's a rough player and he's a mouthy player. So if he gets to play, it is very specific play dates with very specific dogs.
Yes.
We've been trying to integrate him into Connie, and they are lovely together on walks. When we talked about this, how do you do it when, they have different play styles? They're lovely together on walks. They can play for about 3 to 5 seconds, and then that's it. And then we take a break, and then we hang out in the yard, and then we let them play for about 3 to 5 seconds.
Yes.
Because after that, he's also 80 pounds, and Takani's 25 pounds, and he likes to throw his weight around.
Yeah.
So again, their play styles just aren't compatible. What we're trying to teach Remy is, can you lighten up? Can you learn to listen when Takani says, no, that is too rough and that is too hard for me? And can he learn to be a little bit more gentle?
And I interrupt the mouthy ones when they're closing and pulling, or closing or pulling.
That's not okay. Yeah.
Mouthing should, to me, look like open. And there's often a lot of vocalization with it. And you might even hear a little, which if they're like, if their body is loose and it's reciprocal, we're good. Yes. But it sounds scary. I often tell clients, if you really want to understand your dog's body language, watch a video of them on mute if you have a vocal dog. Because we could get really distracted by some of the noises they're making.
And I agree. They shouldn't be biting and pulling. That's a no-go for me.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get that with like herding breeds and things like that. So I'm very sensitive to that, watching for that. But it's all, it's open mouth. And sometimes you get some like clink teething, but it's just like this like weird, I don't know. It's not my favorite type of play. My dogs don't play that way. But yeah, and it's loud and it's intimidating. But if if the other dog is enjoying it, you're going to see body language back that I can handle this and I'm okay with this versus Takani will say, okay, I can hang on this long, but that's enough. And she'll tell them off appropriately.
Yeah.
But yeah, not every dog's going to be okay with that. And you need to be able to read that and feel comfortable and things like that too, which is hard. It takes time and patience and comfortableness. And the first time we did that, I think his mom almost had a heart attack. She was like, "You're going to let this happen?" I'm like, "Yeah, I trust him. Like, I've been working with you guys for 2 years. I trust him. I would never let a dog interact that I didn't feel confident in my skill with." But yeah, I definitely, and I get it all the time too. And I'm sure you do too. Oh, we went to the dog park and there's every kind of dog owner or dog parent as well. So there's the very loosey-goosey parents where maybe their dog's behavior is a little more bratty. So maybe a little bit more nipping happening or not listening to signals of saying no, thank you. Or pinning, things like that. And then you have the over the top, what do you call helicopter parent? There we go.
Yes.
Like any little like vocal coming from any dog is like freaking out. And that's again why the dog park can be very challenging, that you have this big spectrum. And a lot of times when I'm there too, are interacting with my clients, I say they're fine. They're dogs. They're talking. They're figuring it out. They're fine right now. I'm not always going to interject at the very first sign of, oh, are they going to be a match or not?
Right. And what you're talking about is having a balance. And we all have a level of risk tolerance with our dogs or our kids or what have you. And I am not too risk tolerant. I'm more prone to, if I'm seeing the head over the shoulder.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And no. So can you explain a little head over the shoulder for our listeners?
Yeah. Head over shoulder often goes with that body language we talked about earlier about stiff tail, stiff body. So head over the shoulder is a very dominating move. If you think about us doing it to our dogs, that's why a lot of dogs don't like the hand coming over their head. It's very alpha, very dominating, very intimidating, very I might eat you. So a dog comes over to another dog and they place their head right over their neck. They're basically being a bully, for better terms, of being like, "Hey, I can steal your lunch money. Are you going to do anything about it?" And it just, again, depending on your dog and how soft your dog, the reciprocating dog may be, that can either crush some confidence on that dog. Yeah. Or if you have a dog that's, I can also take your money, we might actually have a fight.
Can you repeat that one more time for us?
Sorry.
Well, if you have a soft dog,
it might lower their confidence even more. So have them a harder time interacting with dogs, right? And being like, well, I don't know what this dog's going to do. And then if we have a dog that has more confidence that says, "Oh, you want to steal my lunch money? Guess what? I want what's in your lunch too." And then might have a little bit of an argument.
Yes. So I like to interrupt and redirect as needed. I am not one that with my kids either just let it work it out. I like teaching as opposed to helicopter and swooping in and be like, "Don't worry, baby." I don't do that either.
Yes.
But I like to coach and intervene as needed.
Even with interrupting, we want to be cautious of our body language too, because if we come in and we're very tense and very yelling, that can also escalate if there is a concern of that. So again, being silly, being playful, and calling whatever it is, calling your dog and being like, "Go this way," and keeping it cool during that is better than the "Hey, good," real rough and mean, "Get off her," things like that too. So I'm
grabbing the collar and yanking off.
Yeah. Watching tone and watching my body language, things like that too. Yeah. That I'm not okay with. Nipping of like back legs, I'm not a big fan of. Really rough play. I also, depending on the dogs, sometimes I'll allow it, but it's always very short. I just won't let dogs play rough for a long time. It's not something I love. What else? What else in there?
And when you're talking about what you're looking for with play, if somebody's starting puppy socialization classes, a great way to learn body language, in addition to this book, is if you have a trainer present that's narrating, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. And it's really, they're your translator and you're learning the language with them there. And that do short, well-matched play moments, not an hour, all out, everybody just go nuts.
And size. And there's always a shy dog. There's always I hate the term bully, but a overconfident dog, I guess you could say. You're always going to have a variety. And a little bit of exposure is good, but it needs to be highly monitored and in a controlled setting. 100%. That's why I actually am not a fan of dogs going to dog parks at a young age. Need to be socialized, but I do not agree with dog parks is the place to socialize your puppy.
I agree. Or the grumpy neighbor's dog who's an adult. I mean, it's just, you wouldn't send your 2-year-old on an adult with on a play date with a 25-year-old. They're just playing different and they have different speeds, and it's not setting either of them up for happiness.
I'll counter to that a little bit. Miara's pretty dang good with puppies.
That's wonderful. And when I'm saying grumpy, would you call her grumpy with?
She actually likes puppies, which is funny.
But not Doodles.
Not Doodles. I don't know about a Doodle. She hasn't met a Doodle puppy in a long time. Trying to think about that. I know. She's so funny. She loves Chihuahuas. Oh, you bring her a Chihuahua, she will be your best friend. But with puppies, here's a caveat. She likes puppies, but she can't play with a puppy. Like she tries to zoom in. She's got arthritic legs and she'll try. But she's really good with puppies, with interacting and being sweet with them. But she's good with setting boundaries as, I don't know, she just has this, I'm old and I'm wise. And so puppies don't harass her too much. So she's done really well with that. And if they do, she'll correct them appropriately, which I'm okay with. I think she's actually, again, a decent one, but not all older dogs. I have somebody I'm working with right now who has an older dog and they got a new dog and it's been a big struggle and things like that. And this older dog was being overcorrecting. That's where
and put in that position.
Yeah. Rolling and pinning the puppy, and that's not okay at all.
And I think what you're describing actually is true, that a lot of older dogs can be more patient with a puppy. They almost get a little get out of jail free card a little bit, but that's not the only kind of dog we want our puppies socialized with. No. Like puppy to puppy play is so different.
Yes. Breeds, different puppies, not just one-on-one, like you're just your neighbor's puppy.
Especially if you have a little sharkadoodle at home, your little land shark that's trying to tear up your own skin, giving them that outlet to be able to play with their mouths in an appropriate way is wonderful.
Yeah. And I have a lot of clients with the puppies, and one of them was working on a lot of socialization, and she goes, I think he's good. This one person said he's way too mouthy. Can we do one of our sessions? He come interact with your dogs. I said, absolutely. She goes, I really want your read on his body language. And again, that's the good kind. Those are the parents that I want to see. Let's get eyes on it. Yeah, let's get those eyes on it and get a reassurance, not just from your neighbor who thinks they're a dog. They've had 5 dogs, so they're dog experts. Reach out to somebody. You can even do it virtually and be like, hey, would you mind assessing this video for me? Yes. You can tell a lot of body language even in videos as well. Like you mentioned, watching a video without sound, things like that. That is very important when you are looking at your puppies and you're not sure what's normal puppy behavior or what might be over the.
And I think that's a brilliant use of virtual training, which is really exploded in availability of being able to show, even I've got my new puppy with my adult dog. Can I send you a couple of videos while they're totally relaxed? There's not a stranger in the home and you can see what their true dynamic is. I know, Emily, you actually offer virtual training.
Yep.
And
I do.
if someone wanted to work with you, how could they reach out to do?
Yeah. So virtual training, all new clients start with a new client orientation. And actually, this kind of goes in pair with this. I always focus on training the people first before jumping into the dogs. And in that, we talk about body language. We talk about how dogs learn, how we speak differently than
Mhm.
dogs do. That's a very important concept to understand, and looking at those expectations and learning how to speak our dog's dialect. And then from there, everything's on my website. So we'll have that in the show notes here.
Yes.
But you can go to my website and go to my services pages, and you'll see the new client consult. And then after that, I do follow up weekly Zoom sessions as well.
Wonderful. And so
Yeah, I'd
someone
love
could
to have
send
you
you their
guys.
video
Yep.
and you can help translate for them what's going on with their dog.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you've gotten to the end of our interview and you think you've learned some things about decoding your dog's body language, I'll have in the show notes our quiz that Emily and I put together, and you can see if you've been able to interpret your dog's body language more successfully after listening to our interview.
Corinne, also, I think we can toss in the show notes too, if you're cool. The ASPCA
Yes.
made a great dog video going over speaking dog and communications. And so too, if owners want to dive in a little bit more and watch some dog language with a trainer going over what's happened, that's also another
Perfect.
great resource.
That's wonderful. I recommend people do not turn to social media and TikTok. There is, for
Correct.
interpreting dog body language, there's a lot of, unqualified opinions on there about body language in particular. So thank you for that resource. I'll certainly add that in.
Yeah, social media can be pretty crazy. A lot of dogs and babies doing things that make me very nervous.
It's true. Emily, it's so nice having you join us again. Thank you so much. And I look forward to looking at the quizzes with everyone as they come in and see how people have learned how to decode their dog's body language.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Are you ready to test your knowledge on decoding dog body language? Head over to our quiz at thedoodlepro.com/body and see how well you can read dog body language. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Doodle Pro podcast. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. And I invite you to follow me on Instagram at @TheDoodlePro for behind-the-scenes peeks at all of the adorable doodles I work with daily.